Good morning. I'm going to continue reading from Vimala's book, What is Meditation? Let me see. It is here. Okay. Education in silence. Education in silence. The necessity to go beyond the center of I was felt in Oriental countries, Tibet, China, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, the Oriental Hemisphere. The ancient wise people felt the necessity. They said to themselves, what will happen if this I, this apparent center, which moves constantly, would not move? It is thinking, reacting, it is imagining, wishing, it is anxious, worrying, it is remembering. It's always doing something. It's constantly moving. This movement is a very living movement because when a thought travels in the body, it consumes a bit of nervous energy. When an emotion travels in the body, it affects the chemical system, it affects the health. What will happen if we educate the I consciousness not to move? So, education in silence, education in the art and science of remaining inwardly empty, completely silent. That education they began to undertake. In the East, people first educated the body with yoga asanas and pranayama breathing exercises, providing proper kind of food to keep the body light, supple, and healthy. They allotted time to sit down comfortably in order to help the breathing system to function smoothly. If you sit not in a straight but in a tilted way, then the incoming breath and the outgoing breath cannot move completely freely. This study they undertook, keeping the body healthy with a proper diet, proper exercises, and proper oxidization. People in the ancient days, in the days of the rishis, in the days of the Vedas, of the Upanishads, were quite a healthy community. We can see that from the literature in the Sanskrit language. They were very much concerned about what they used as food, about how they used speech, how they walked the body, how they made the body to sit, made the body to stand. Their concern was holistic, so they prepared the body. They would allot time, morning and night, to sit down quietly and relax completely. No action. The whole day we move, we act physically, mentally, and there's exhaustion from it in the body. To wash out those toxins of exhaustion, they invented this technique of sitting quietly, educating the physical body to be still completely. Still, but not stiff. Relaxed, not passive. Relaxed and alert. Still, steady, not rigid, not stiff. It is quite an education. Then they closed their eyes, so the eyes would not see any objects. Perception stimulates memory. So they used to close the eyes in order that memory would not become active, and they also would not speak. So there was an abstinence from speech, from seeing, an abstinence from hearing, and they would sit still in a quiet place where the impressions of sound, light, and vibrations of the presence of other people would not be there. A quiet place for educating oneself in a meditative way of living. The outward quietness, stillness was there. But then they noticed that the mind moves. Without the spoken word, the mind moves. So they would observe the movement of the mind, not trying to stop it, not arresting it, not trying to suppress it. Just observe the movement of the mind. And what would it do? The mind moves all the 24 hours. But now I sit, and there is the observation. Throughout the day, the mind demands certain things, and I act upon it. Now the mind moves, and I do not act. It is a new relationship between the mental movement and awareness. Perception is there, observation is there, but there is no reaction. I don't touch the movement of the mind. I do not act upon it. I do not condemn it. I do not praise it. There is a new relationship when you do not move through the past. When you do not move though the past in you is moving. What is moving is a replay of conditioning, but your awareness, your attention, your perception does not get affected by that. It's a steady flame, a very steady flame of attentiveness, irrespective of the objective situation that is kindled by consciousness. Generally, we look at things we want to look at. We listen to things we want to listen to. It is a selective perception. But now there's no response, just watching. And that watching becomes a flame of attention. There's physical relaxation, and at the same time, there is this flame of attention, which is not choosy, it is not selective. Non subjective, non objective attention is there. So, studying, watching, observing, and then with the withering away even of observation, there just remains a flame of alertness, of sensitivity. This is what we call silence. Complete relaxation of the known, of the past. The I consciousness is now not moving. It moves only when you want to acquire something from someone, when you want to acquire pleasure. When you do not want to acquire anything, when you don't want to react, then naturally the I, the me, the contrived, conditioned structure which we have inherited goes into non action. Silence is the non action of the ego. Silence is the total relaxation of the ego, the self, the me. In the beginning, when you sit down, you feel I am observing, I am watching. This happened to me I saw the light, I heard the sound. One goes through all this. So in the beginning, there is I consciousness. Then I'm not even conscious that I'm perceiving. And there is silence. Non-action of the ego, going into abeyance of the self, the me, the I consciousness, is really non-action of the total past contained in me. Non-continuation of acquired knowledge and experience, which is also the past that I have created in my life. All this is a movement of the past. Now that movement comes to stillness. This is what we call silence. It is not meditation yet, but it is silence. This continuity of the movement of knowledge, experience, the whole inheritance of the past, the discontinuity of that is silence. Healing energies get activized. When thought does not move, when emotions do not move, when there is no pressure on the nervous system or the chemical system, when there's that holistic relaxation, complete relaxation, then the curative, and the healing energies in the body begin to move. Does not that happen when you sleep? When you sleep profoundly, and the mind does not move, then rejuvenation, refreshment, recreation of the cells in the body takes place. It is the relaxation that has healing energies. It is the relaxation that activizes these creative energies, the healing energies. Rejuvenation takes place in the person. You sleep for 7 or 8 hours, and in the morning you say, "My God, I feel so refreshed." This is because the nervous system, ah, I did not sleep for 2 days. I am feeling tired. That is because the nervous system did not get any chance to relax. But when there are no thoughts and no emotions, my friends, the breathing, the inhaling and exhaling of the breath becomes rhythmical on its own, even without practicing pranayama. It becomes rhythmical. So the rhythmical breathing and relaxation, the activization of healing energies, the activization of creativity takes place in the dimension of silence. From the dimension of speech, we have moved into the dimension of silence. From the dimension of constant motion, we have come to the dimension of stillness. Normally, we were always with some people, father, mother, child, brother, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, or other members of society. We're always there in some relationship. But from the dimension of relationship and its movement, we have moved into solitude. Solitude, silence, stillness. It's a dimension for which we are not educated in the modern world, and therefore there are imbalances. Somebody says something and immediately I get angry. Something happens against my wishes and I get disturbed, I get annoyed, I get impatient. We lose balance every second minute. Meditation is a way of life in which you never lose your balance. It's an inner equipoise, an inner steadiness, an inner balance which is spontaneously there. That is the state of meditation that can be the normal dimension of the human race if it educates itself for dimensional change or dimensional transformation. I was saying that the dimension of silence is a dimension neglected by the human race. Education has taught the techniques of motion, movement, speech, and so on. But the parents and the schools never educate a child into this science of solitude, stillness, and silence. They do not teach this essential science. Silence is a part of life. Stillness is a part of life. Solitude is a part of life. Life would be incomplete without them. People in modern societies feel lonely if they are alone. They feel afraid of being alone with life. They need some company. If a human being is not there, they switch on the radio, the TV, the video, because they don't want to be alone. They're afraid of being with themselves. They are afraid of being with life. In the name of civilization, we have created these fears. If they do not move, if they do not think, they feel lost. They have to think about something. Worry, anxiety, memory, thinking, reading a book. They must expose themselves to the thoughts of other people or their own thoughts. So the modern human being, whether in Norway or in India, coming out of colleges and universities, is an imbalanced person intrinsically. Inwardly, there's an imbalance. If I'm afraid of silence, if I'm afraid of solitude, if I'm afraid of motionlessness, of thought free consciousness, obviously I'm living incompletely, I'm living partially. What we have to learn is to live not partially and fragmentarily, but holistically, in the wholeness of our being. The energy of emptiness. New chapter. The energy of emptiness. If one allows oneself to be in the dimension of silence, then the energy of intelligence or awareness, the energy that is born of the non duality of silence, begins to vibrate in the body. Meditation is a state where you get a new energy, not the energy of thought, not of word, not the energy of sound. Sound is also an energy, thought is also energy. Thought is matter that emanates from your body, and every matter contains energy. So we are acquainted with that. And we have lived by the energy of impulses, by the energy of sentiments, the energy of sound, and so on. Beyond all these energies is the energy of emptiness, from which the universe has come into existence. The energy of emptiness is the energy contained in space, in silence. So, what happens in the dimension of silence? When you get moments of leisure, when you sit down, relax, and plunge yourself into that dimension of silence, the dimension of healing energies, then intelligence or perceptive sensitivity gets activized in the body. Meditation is a state of consciousness which has a perceptive intelligence. The content is not thought, knowledge, memory, or experience. The content is the emptiness of silence, which is full of intelligence. In India, they call this Atman or Para Atman. These are words you may have heard. Some call it the sound energy, but we are communicating in the era of science. Let us not take those words. We do not know any other name except that it is an energy subtler than whatever we can think of. Let us call it intelligence. Thought is intellect, which is a cerebral energy impulse. It is a biological energy. Thought is an energy created by the past inheritance. Intelligence is an energy born of the emptiness of silence, of the space of silence. So the person has a sense of being alive. The person has a sense of belonging to the planet, belonging to every being that is living. You open your eyes in the state of meditation and you see the whole earth as your being. You feel that the cosmos has a beingness. A tree is a being. The earth is a being. The mountain is a being. The consciousness may be mute there. It may not participate. It may not express itself in our language, but it has its own language. They are not things to be used, misused, and abused. They are not only for our pleasure, they are our fellow beings. We share the planet with them. So, in the study of meditation, you feel life around you. Everything becomes alive. In the study of meditation, there is the awareness of life. We are organically related to that life, as a hand or arm is organically related to the body. The hand or arm is not a part of the body, like the brakes of the wheels in a motor car are. They are parts of a totality. Here, it is an indivisible organic being. The fingertips are life, as the light in the eyes is life. It is a holistic whole. It's an organic whole. Life is this wholeness. Life is beingness. Everything is interrelated, not interdependent, like the parts of a machine. They are interlocked, so life is shared. Only in meditation there is a consciousness where the psychology of peace and friendship is possible. She says, only in meditation there is a consciousness where the psychology of peace and friendship is possible. On the level of thought, on the level of ideologies, on the level of philosophies, there can be conviction, there can be adjustments through law and order, there can be a sense of justice. But it is only in the state of meditation that love can flower, that compassion can flower. You become an expression of cosmic life, as a drop of water is an expression of the entire ocean. They have the same quality. Okay, I think until here today of this beautiful book, beautiful words of Vimala. So I wish you a really good day. Bye for now.